Welcome back to the Nickel and Dime Football Show. It's your boy Suds. We got the man behind the wheels of steel, the man Drew Harrison. Make sure you like and subscribe. Here we are coming at you. It is Thursday. We are going into week 15. We got to start off with that breaking news. Kyler injured his knee, the dreaded non-contact on Monday. Listen, what is this going to mean going forward for the Arizona Cardinals? This is big. They weren't really going anywhere, but you kind of have to ask the question, what is going on with the Arizona Cardinals in their future? We want to know from you. Make sure you like and subscribe. Again, leave us a comment down in the comment section. Hit us up on Insta, hit us up on Twitter. What is this going to mean for the Cardinals going forward? But right now, we talking week 14, getting in to week 15. It's Nickel and Dime.
The dreaded non-contact.
Man, 3 plays into the game, Drew. 3 plays into the game. You know, big contract and man, like as crazy as it is nowadays in this world, this was almost probably guaranteed to happen with Kyler getting that big contract and now going out with a big injury,
Yeah, it sucks, man. Well, we start off with some bad news, but let's start our week 14 recap with some good news. And Baker Mayfield leads the Rams to a win on Thursday Night Football against Vegas. Shawn, if you're Vegas, you have now lost to Baker Mayfield after having the playbook for mere days. And Jeff Saturday, who hadn't coached beyond high school.
Ugh, the hits just keep on coming. The hits just keep on coming. Drew, I feel like a gut punch has happened, and we showed it on our Twitter a little bit earlier this week, but all those losses have come when the Raiders are up, Drew. They are up in those games.
If your punter buries a Baker Mayfield led offense on the 2-yard line with mere minutes left in the game, I'm not going to lie. If I'm sitting on the sideline, I'm thinking game over.
Yeah. You all smiles at that point. A 98-yard drive. You have to figure you give this guy two games, not only 2 games, but what this guy is coming into the game, and he buries you. I mean,
these are the games he plays. These are the games he plays his heart out. I hope he doesn't Baker Mayfield it and disappear, because I'm pulling for the guy.
I mean, we're going to have the rest of the season to find out, Drew, and that's what
are the Rams
all
dangerous
witnesses. Oh, we're all witnesses. Not dangerous. It's too far gone.
No, I mean, like, play spoiler. They can start.
Oh,
they can start
definitely.
hitting. They can take out some people in their division for sure.
Definitely.
Speaking of division, Lions get a huge division win against Minnesota.
They did, Drew. They did. Let me pull up my notes for this game. But listen, man, Drew, I gotta ask a question, man. Is Detroit the scariest offense in this league right now?
Dude, who's getting it? They got 25 guys that can score, I feel like.
Yes.
And none of them are superstars. And I feel like none of them are like, if Jared Goff doesn't throw me the ball or hand me the ball. Like, I feel like it's an ego-free offense.
Yeah. And that's another good thing about it is not only is it ego-free, but they're ego-free with all the losing that went on, and nobody started bickering and no infighting, stuff like that. They steadied the ship. They remained in sync with each other, and now it's starting to pay off again. All one of the hottest offenses in the league.
Yeah. I love watching Swift and St. Brown and Williams on the goal line. Like, you just know Williams is carrying it in if you're 2 yards or less. Like, it's just
I think that was the good thing about it, because Drew, if you look at the stats of this game, there was no real superstar who went off except Jared Goff. Now, I will say that the offensive line protected the hell out of Jared Goff. 0 sacks by Minnesota, and but
is Jared Goff playing into another year? Is he playing his way into another year, even if the Lions have a higher draft pick? Do you roll with Jared Goff in 2023?
I think he has to be the starter. Like maybe you get somebody in there
Just a little
and and
competition.
and maybe that hurts Jared Goff because like maybe he doesn't like playing with somebody behind him,
Yeah.
kind of nipping at his heels a little bit. But I think he has to be the starter. He's earned that much to me.
27 for 39, 330 yards and 3 touchdowns against a pretty decent Minnesota defense.
Drew, and talking about Minnesota, but what's wrong with Dalvo? I
I was
mean,
going to ask you straight up, are the Vikings collapsing?
well,
Like
no,
just losing. Like they're still putting up numbers.
yeah.
Cousins had 425 yards.
So that's why I'm saying that they're not tanking because Kirk still hasn't really had. He had a bad game, I think, last week. It
They're
was
taking turns. Like they're
right.
kind of doing the opposite. Like when you talk about these teams finding ways to win and different people stepping up each week,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
almost like the Vikings are doing the opposite, and they're like, who's going to let them down this week?
Well, and that's the problem. Honestly, that's one of the things that I have written down about the Raiders. It's like
Who's going to let them
it's
down this
who's
week?
going to let them down this week. So Minnesota kind of taking a page out of their book, but Kirk and Jefferson went off. So I don't think that they're on a downward trend as long as those two guys are getting it right. But
Yeah.
I mean, Dalvin's got to be more the good Dalvin and not this
1.5.
1.5 yard per carry guy.
1.5. And then, I mean,
Yeah.
Madison had negative 0.5.
Yeah, Dalvin clone had less than Dalvin, so I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah. Shawn, I got to ask you, how you feeling about the Jaguars sneaking one on the Titans?
Did not see it coming, man.
Yeah.
I did not see it coming, but and also what I didn't see coming is Evan Ingram finally having the game that he lived up to his draft status with.
162 yards, 2 touchdowns. My guy.
And of course, I was playing against him in fantasy.
Of course.
Of
I mean,
course,
who starts him at this point? But kudos for that person starting.
yeah, the
Oh,
stones
I
on that
think it was.
guy.
I think. Well, I think it was. I think it was. I think it was my wife, my better half, started Ingram this week. So good for her.
Damn, man, yeah, it went off 37
Yeah.
points, but
And we love to
uh,
see Zay Jones have a day. Love to see
yeah,
that.
Xavier Jones was the leading receiver, and Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he was the one slinging the rock, so we got to
Three
give him some
touchdowns,
praise.
ran one in as well.
Yeah, and good for him because Evan Ingram went off because I believe it was Trevor Lawrence that just kept exploiting the matchup, and that's
Yeah.
good to see. If like he's one of those guys where it's like,
Talk
all
about
right,
living up to
well,
their draft status.
beat me doing this. If you can't do it, then I'm gonna keep doing it, and he did. So, I mean, for the Titans though, maybe they have more problems than just the general manager. You know,
Yeah.
uh,
I mean, because Derrick Henry had a day. He had
he did. He had,
121 yards, touchdown,
but but he had two turnovers though. He
uh,
had two turnovers, and
two fumbles
so did
lost. When's
Tannehill's.
the last
Yeah,
time you heard about Derrick Henry fumbling the ball?
exactly. One was on a Henry. He took a shot, and
Yeah.
it was the most improbable way to happen. And I think it was the defensive end who got the interception, but he caught the ball, went on the sideline, and somebody basically took out all the frustration that Derrick Henry takes out on other people
On
on
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, and he laid his
He had
ass
it
out,
coming. Yeah.
and the ball just like literally floated up in the air like one of those drones or whatever, and the defensive end just plucked it out of the air.
Yeah.
That was it. So
I can't imagine playing secondary. Like I never played like any like minus just backyard games, but like just being in the secondary and just thank you.
yeah. Luck only happens that way to very few people, very
Right.
few times.
Yeah. Shawn, don't look now, but then Panthers beat
Man,
Seattle.
bro,
I felt it in my bones last week. I called it
yeah.
in locks. Something told me Sam Darnold was going to do enough to beat Geno Smith, and it ended up being our running game.
I didn't believe
Seattle
you.
couldn't stop the run.
I didn't believe you. I thought that with Seattle being at home and the 12s coming out, the Panthers being a team that has been up and down, quarterback issues, coach. Wilkes has got those guys playing for something otherworldly. I don't know
Yeah.
what he is telling them or selling them in that locker
Yeah,
room,
those boys
but
play for him, man. And I think there's something more to Seattle not having the home field advantage they once had. I think we don't talk about it a lot, but I don't feel
yeah,
like that 12th man is predominant as it used to be.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe that's what it is. But I thought all the recipe was
Watch, we're gonna have a
there.
bunch of Seattle fans mad at us.
Yeah, I thought the recipe was there for the Panthers to just lose and kind of go back to it, and they shocked me. So I gotta give credit to
Is
them.
is Wilkes is Wilkes gonna get the job? You think, as an outsider looking in? Because
I had to ask a question.
I'm too deep in Twitter that I've seen too many sides and too many things that
I
I
literally
don't
wrote
know
that down
anymore.
myself. I wrote that down myself. The thing about it is, if they don't give him a shot, he has earned a legit shot
Yes,
at a franchise, because that stuff that happened in
I
Arizona, that was a tank job
that was
from the start.
yeah.
So that was uh that was house money. He was never
Yeah,
going to get the job. But
no.
here, I think he's playing his way into not only maybe being a Panthers coach, but definitely for somebody to get that
Somebody,
man a job. Yeah,
because I'm torn, because I really like Wilkes. Love him, what he's
right.
done stepping in, but then you just got that, the shine of just a. I just something tells me we need an offensive minded coach, and I love Wilkes, and it would be a slap in the face to be like, would you be our defensive coordinator? Because the man deserves to be a head coach.
Yeah, man, and that's another crazy thing is great minds. I have to say, because the way that you feel about Steve Wilkes is kind of the way that I'm starting to feel about Todd Bowles, and the reason why the Bucks offense is just, they need an offensive coach to take them
Some
over the
teams just
top,
need offensive coach,
and
like
maybe
the
that's what it
Steelers.
is.
I feel like those gritty teams, like the Ravens and they do great
Right?
with their defensive minded coaches.
Exactly.
I think
Exactly.
some teams need, and especially if Carolina, like I love that Darnold's playing well, but
Yeah.
he's not the future. He's playing into earning the spot to be a gap quarterback,
Sure.
and I'm good
Or
with that.
backup. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
like I want him to play and us develop a young quarterback, and then
yeah,
him still be around.
yeah,
But
and
I don't know if Wilkes could get the coaching staff around to develop. I don't think we can lure Ken Dorsey away from Buffalo just for an offensive coordinator spot.
damn, my bad. I mean to yawn.
Oh, you're good. I'll
But
just say
no,
that.
like,
I'll just say
man,
that line one more time, real quick.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, I just don't know if Wilkes can get like I don't think we can steal Ken Dorsey from Buffalo just to be our offensive coordinator.
Nah, and that's you got to have a defensive. You have to, if the defensive guys in there, they have to pick the right guys in order for your team to kind of hit on all cylinders.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a legit question that has to be asked. Let me ask you another legit question, Drew. Talking about this game specifically, you talked about, is Steve Wilkes coaching his way into the job, but my question to you is Geno Smith playing his way out
I mean,
of the job in Seattle?
we've all secretly been pulling for the guy, but we've been waiting for him to fall apart. To be honest with you, I mean, that's how I am.
As a
Like,
collective,
yeah,
I feel like, yeah,
like I'm super stoked with what he's done, but he's showing again why. I mean, man's been in the league for a hot minute,
yeah, true. He has.
so
He's
he's
been around.
showing while he's good. He's a good quarterback.
Yeah,
Is he a starter? That's the question Seattle's got to ask themselves with
yeah,
this, especially if he continues to fall apart down the end and they miss the playoffs.
yeah,
It's going to be a hard sell
yeah.
for him to be
And I think
QB1 coming back next year.
they are just outside of the playoff this week with the teams who tied in the playoffs. And guess what? They play again this week coming up. Washington football team and the New York Giants.
Look at that
But
tie coming back into play. Look at that
right,
tie being
got
right
them
there.
both in there. It's got them both in there. Drew, my last question to you is this before we move on from this game. But what's the formula for the Panthers' recent success, man? Is it just coaching, or what's really happening there?
I think the proof's in the pudding, man, because we didn't make any big personnel changes. We did get Sam Darnold back, but I'd be a crazy person to think that was the entire reason. So I think it's this team truly believes in Wilkes and have backed this dude 110%. It's kind of what we saw with the Raiders last year with their coach. And then the Raiders made the huge mistake of not bringing him back for a flashy offensive guy. So
and it
now
didn't
that I'm
work out.
talking myself out of this, Wilkes needs to come back next year.
It just goes you to show it just goes to show that everything there has to be so much that goes right in order for you to hit on the coach and to have that team and
Yeah.
it could be a retread, it could be an offensive guy, it could be a defensive guy. Rich Bisaccia last year with the Raiders was a special teams coach who had been in the
Right.
league for years,
Yeah.
and it just worked.
Did
So
he end up anywhere?
special teams. I mean, I think
Is
he's
he
coaching
back with the
somewhere. I can't.
Raiders? Oh, okay. No, I don't think he's
I'm
with the
not
Raiders.
sure, but
I need to. I'll have an update for you next week.
yeah, but he's definitely in the league for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, we spoke on my team. Shawn, the floor is yours. San Francisco beat up on the Bucks pretty good.
Yeah, they did,
How
man.
you feeling about that?
Man, it was when you expect to lose, I didn't expect to lose by that much. Like the Bucks,
So
they showed
fast.
nothing. They showed nothing. Yeah, it
21
was
points in that second quarter.
21 skunk. Yeah,
Oh.
it was over from there. It was ugly. Tom's now arguing with this is how you know it's going bad is when Tom Brady is arguing with the Buccaneers fan, arguably the most beloved player on the roster, and Mike Evans. That's
Who
how you
loves that
know,
dude?
right? Everybody,
Evans looks at Brady just
right,
so endearingly.
right, yeah, yep, yeah. So that's how you know it's going bad. Coaching is bad. Tom's playing bad. Look, and talking about San Fran, I mean, they're set up to do good things. Like Purdy is set up with Shanahan. That is a quarterback super friendly system, and he's making it work with everybody. So I didn't expect anything different. They chanting this man's
How do they
name,
go from no quarterbacks to 3 quarterbacks now?
Shanahan.
Next year's going to be weird.
If I'm Kyle Shanahan, Drew, I'm putting that on my resume. How do you go with no quarterbacks or 3 quarterbacks? My system. That's how you do it. Me. Hire me. That's what I want to put. The question has to be asked, Drew, and I'll ask you: is Tom washed?
No, I don't think he's washed.
Mm.
I think he still is that guy, but he's also a 45-year-old guy. So I mean, we're seeing it, and we're seeing it a little bit with Ronaldo.
Mm.
Dude's a striker. He relies on his speed to score and break away from defenders. That speed's just not there anymore. So I mean, is his reflexes slowing down a little bit? Is he like he's 45 years old, man? Like I sat in a car today for 9 hours. No, I'm gonna wake up so sore tomorrow from
Yeah.
it. You know, like and he's 8 years older than I am. So I
Yeah.
can't imagine how he feels on a daily basis. But I mean, the man spends what $1 million on his body a year, like
Yeah,
him and
close
LeBron
to
James.
it.
So
Close to it, man.
he could feel great. To be honest with you, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
You never want to admit when a great is slowing down.
Yeah.
So I think for now I'm going to defer to what you spoke on. And I just think they're out of sync with the coaching staff and the players.
Yeah,
He still can throw the ball, obviously.
he can. I mean, he's definitely been less accurate this year, but the problem is just everything is going bad. And honestly, like one of the bright spots for the most part has been the offensive line. I mean, they're not run blocking very well, but I mean, keeping Tom upright for the most part. I mean, hell, he's been throwing 50 passes a game,
Right.
So that has to count for something.
Right.
I mean, it's been a throw fest, so
and
you
he's
can't
still
say
been
it's off the
completing
line.
in the 30s every
Yeah,
game.
so like he's just not. It's somebody every week. We got that Raider syndrome. It's just somebody letting us down. Everybody went bad yesterday, but unfortunately for us, man, I don't see it getting better. We got the Bengals. That's another loss coming up this week. So they're going to have to live and die by these last 3 weeks of the season, all NFC games. So they better get it right.
Yep, the playoffs are upon us. The Chargers grab a playoff spot after a win against the Dolphins. Tua only managed 145 yards. Herbert 367.
Yeah, man.
Touchdown. He started to get some weapons. Stay tuned for 3 and out. I got a good Chargers question for you, so we won't go into it too much. But
all right,
Chargers are in there now, man.
Drew, who is the real Miami before we get into this Chargers? Like, what is happening? What is happening with these guys? Like,
because I mean, yes, the Chargers defense is scary. You know, Mac always will be scary person, but
Yeah.
You don't think about them holding a quarterback to under 200 yards.
Without Derwin James, I don't think he
And
played.
Bosa. Bosa's not in there.
Yeah. I mean, that's just good scheme. You know what I mean? And sometimes maybe the scheme, when those star players are in there, you don't rely on it as much because you have star players. But when they're out, it has to be the basics. You know what I mean? So that the Chargers played the game yesterday. That's the team that they are on paper. They showed up yesterday. You know what I mean? And that they shocked Miami. I didn't see that game coming ending the way that it did. But I mean, Keenan Allen went off. Mike Williams went
Needed that.
off.
Got me in the playoffs.
Ooh, I mean, listen,
Boy went from last place to making the playoffs this year.
Drew might be the hottest fantasy team in the world.
Dude, I'm putting
right
up
now.
some points right now.
Yeah,
Love it. I got
scary.
CMC. I got Keenan Allen. I got Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
I got
don't know.
New England's defense. They might be putting up some points without Kyler in there now.
Man, he got it. But talking about this Charger team, man, I mean, I think Herbert had 300, 400 yards, something like that. So this is a team that they should have been all season, but they are poised to have their destiny in front of them if they can continue to play this way. Yeah. So,
all right, real quick before we move on from week 14, Denver put up a fight with KC.
They did. I was surprised. Showing that offense, and they did all of that, and now 28 points and a loss are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. You waited to have your best offensive performance on the day that you get eliminated. Yeah. Yeah.
And then just the rumblings around our favorite division in football right now, the NFC East. The Eagles beat the Giants. Dallas survives a scare against Houston.
They did. Just survived it. Yeah,
are the Giants done? Is it a done deal for the Giants? On their fall. I think you asked me that last week, but you got another game under your belt. How you feel?
Well, listen. I would if they were playing somebody different, and you just talked about living and dying by the last 3 weeks, but they just tied this Washington team 2 weeks ago.
We get two ties,
and now they get them again. So if they win this game, then I have to say no, Drew. I have to say no.
I mean, not many teams have put up 22 against Philly this year. So
yeah. And they just find ways to win games and score. So I never know how it's going to happen.
Tyrod Taylor was a perfect 5 for 5. I'm just throwing that out there.
I mean,
he threw a touchdown. I'm just saying.
New year, same Tyrod. I love.
Yeah. All right, let's get into these housekeeping notes. It's more about quality over quantity this week. We got some bangers in the housekeeping notes section.
Yeah.
Started off with no secret, not one of my favorite players, but the Cowboys add wide receiver T.Y. Hilton to the squad today.
Not OBJ. Not
is that injury too much of a concern?
Oh, could be. Maybe his demands are too much. But T.Y., let's see what T.Y. has. I mean, if they're bringing him in, I'd say he's
got to be a concern, though.
Yeah, well, it always is. The injuries with T.Y. is always a concern, but it's late in the year. I know that he's going to get at least 2 touchdowns sometime soon.
Yeah.
So,
if anything, a decoy to take some pressure off of Lamb and Gallup.
Yeah, which I need in the fantasy playoffs myself. So
there you go. Shawn, you might get a kick out of this because I think you were a big fan of his around draft time. Falcons named Desmond Ridder the starter going forward.
I like it. And Art Smith said that this was a performance-based move. Yeah, performance-based move. What did
Mariota not give you?
I don't know.
If anything, you can say the scheme wasn't beneficial.
So. Performance-based move. What does that mean? I mean,
you're right there in the playoff hunt. What's up?
Right. Isn't that what you should expect from Marcus Mariota?
Yeah, I don't know. That's
very interested to see what Desmond Ridder gives, though, because if it's not, it needs to be better than marginally better than Marcus Mariota.
Yeah. I think he's a gunslinger, man. I'm excited about this. But can he thrive in this offense? I don't know.
They'll beat he's not the quarterback that they started with, so they'll beat Tampa Bay because we suck against backup quarterbacks.
Are y'all going to win anymore this week? Or this year? You banking on the Carolina win, getting you in the playoffs?
Listen. I was going to ask you the question, but like, I mean, if they don't win anymore this year, Bowles has to
You gotta
go.
go. Oh, he
I
will.
mean, the
That's hands out.
offensive coordinator's already
If y'all
gone. But
lose out, if
he's
y'all
got
lose
to
out,
go.
y'all are cleaning house
Gotta
for
go. Gotta
sure,
go. Gotta go.
for sure. Well, we were praising the 49ers, and they get some good news. Quarterback Purdy is day to day, not going to be out. They took him to the hospital as a precautionary because he did hurt his ribs. I always want to make
Right.
sure,
Yeah.
punctured lungs, all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
he's day to day with a
Little
rib injury.
little parting shot.
Yeah. And Debo Samuel, it looked bad. It looked bad, but it's just a MCL and ankle sprain. Hopeful to return sometime during the regular season.
They might want to push that one to the
You got
playoffs.
enough. You got enough weapons. Let him
Yeah.
sit till it matters.
Yeah. New
I mean,
contract
I can
too.
see him coming back if they got to like need a win in week 18.
Yeah. But well, they might. They might. Okay. Yeah.
We talked about Denver earlier. Their quarterback Russ Wilson actually had a pretty good week, but he is now in concussion protocol. And this is second time this year being in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I feel like there's been more concussions. Like consecutive concussions is what I'm trying to spit out.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's happened more and more this year. Like Antoine Winfield, as an example, Tua Tagovailoa obviously was the
Had
big
4.
one. Yeah, so I feel like there's, and not only has it been an onus on it, but maybe since it's on everybody's radar, it's on our radar a little bit more. So get better, man. Get better. Get back in the game.
Saints, I can't wait to see how you feel about this one. Saints defensive end Cam Jordan says the league, quote, questioned his integrity with the $50,000 fine for what they say was faking an injury against the Bucks.
Bro, it is on camera. They did an investigation and used multiple camera angles to piece the timeline together to them looking at the sideline, looking at you and telling you to go down, and you went down. So what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Your coach
What are
better
you
pay that
talking
fine
about?
for you.
I'm sorry. Cam Jordan, like he is a man. If you just look at him, he looks like he's on roids. Like his eyes are huge all the time.
Yeah. He does
all
seem
the time.
intense all the time. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like he's such a cornball, man. Like
Yeah.
I can't stand that dude, man. You did it. You did it.
Yeah,
Your whole team is dirty. Y'all dirty.
Yeah.
Enjoy last place.
Jets QB Mike White expected back against that pivotal game with the Lions. He's dealing with a rib injury as well.
Man, Mike White, man. He go down with the ship. He goes down gunslinging.
He's like, I'll be back.
Gotta love him.
Think he went to the hospital too.
Yeah, man.
That guy.
Yeah, man. Maybe stay tuned. Maybe there's 3 in our question about that.
Ooh.
About the Jets. I don't want to stay tuned.
Chargers optimistic that Slater and Bosa will see the field again at some point this season.
That's big for them, especially if they can keep playing. We talked about it. If they can keep playing like they did last night.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Get all those pieces back.
Yeah.
And then last housekeeping note, and we will move on. Bengals defensive end Hendrickson has a wrist injury, will avoid IR. So they hope he will miss a game or 2 and then come back.
And that's big for them.
That's that dude. That's that defense.
He's been that guy. He's been that guy since they picked him up. And man, the Saints wish they would have not let him go. So
I'm so glad he's not in our division.
Yes, I
am. Well, it's my favorite segment, and we talked about a bunch of things leading into it. It is 3 and out.
Oh yeah. What you want? You want first down?
I'll get first down with you. I got first down because we've talked about it. Chargers have been a big theme for the episode so far. Shawn, first down with Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Herb Bear finally being on the field together, grabbing that number 7 spot in the AFC currently. Do you foresee them holding on to it the rest of the
year? Yes, because I'm going to stick with my early season prediction. I was higher on the Chargers. I said that they get in. They've shown us a lot that says that they were the old Chargers, but it's late in the season. It's later in the season now. They're getting back. They've had the injuries. They're now getting back. They're now starting to get on that page. And there's something that is happening at this time. So I think that those three will be the driving force and what they need to keep the team together to get them over the hump, get them in the playoffs. Yes.
I got you. They finished the season with Titans, Colts, Rams, Broncos. All
They
winnable
in there,
games.
baby.
Yeah.
They in there.
Yeah.
They are in
Man,
there.
that's what a schedule to have. I'd
If
love
they
that.
Chargers that up,
Yeah.
they don't deserve it.
Yeah.
They don't deserve it. I'm sorry.
All right. What you got?
Second down, man. Drew, we just talked about it, man. Quick stay tuned. Stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe while you're here. Leave a comment down. Let us know how you're feeling. But Jet fans, if you are Robert Saleh, Drew, if you are Robert Saleh, considering everything, who are you rolling with as your QB1 moving forward, man?
I'm going Mike White. I really need Zach Wilson to learn this lesson that he is not above the team. And then when a camera is in your face and you had a terrible performance, you take responsibility for it. I do still believe Zach Wilson is the quarterback of the future, but Mike White plays the rest of this year if I'm Saleh.
What do you do in the quick follow up? But like, how does that affect the off season?
I don't let Wilson know that I'm pulling for him and go into the off season and next year full blown QB competition, win the job, and be unbiased to it. Like if Mike White beats him in the off season, it's his job.
It's so hard for people to do that in the NFL, considering ties and contracts and all that stuff, man.
Draft picks,
but that's not how it should be, though. Yes, that's how it should be. It's how it should be. Best person should always take the job.
And I feel like if anyone's gonna do that, Saleh will do it. You know, Saleh had no problem pulling his chair out from under him and being like, "No, this is not how we do things here."
Yeah, and they should. But that's why people like Robert Saleh. Like that's why I like Robert Saleh. So. Yeah. All right, man. Where we at? We at third down?
Third down, Shawn, with the Vikings and the Cowboys stumbling a little bit. You know, Cowboys still won, but it was 3 points over the Texans. Is that a win? Come on. Can anyone keep us from a 49ers-Eagles NFC Championship game?
Ooh, man. All this regalia around me, you like to think I'd be more confident in my team, but I am not in them. Yeah, I think so, yes.
Okay.
Because there is still something to me about this Vikings team that I don't know that I want to see them in a pressure situation when they just kind of seem to pull magic out of their ass a lot.
They do,
especially in the playoffs. You know, they have those.
I just love that it's usually against the Saints.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like they always seem to have whatever they need to get that one play to win the game. So I think if not I don't see the Vikings beating the Eagles, but I can see the Vikings beating the 49ers. So that's why if it's just over one of those teams, let me get the Vikings.
I can see them getting to pretty, you know,
right?
Pretty. My Southern accent never wants me to say that word. Pretty.
Yeah, but that's who I got. I mean, other than that, man, it's really nobody else. Like
I think
it's a lot of parity in the NFL, but
the Cowboys could. NFC. I mean, the Cowboys could surprise some people. I think the Cowboys could catch someone on the right day.
Yeah, they definitely could. But right now, I mean, I think it's got to be.
I mean, what about them Commanders, bro?
And that's the thing in which we talk about them in a second. But I definitely got one who I was looking at talking about free agent fits, like we said we were going to get into last week.
Stay tuned.
But stay tuned for that, man.
What you got on fourth down?
Before we get into it, let's talk about this fourth down though. Drew, talking about free agents, I guess sort of kind of a fourth down. Considering how many teams will likely have QB changes before the 2023 season, which team do you think will fail miserably in spite of having that new quarterback? It ain't going to matter.
So a team that drafts a quarterback next year who's still going to
or
suck,
free whoever
or
has
get someone in a free
or
agency.
right, yeah.
Ooh,
What
ooh,
team is
ooh,
it
ooh,
going to fail
ooh,
miserably in
ooh.
spite of?
Matt, you want to pick on the Raiders, right? You want to think they make a bad pick and do something with Carr in their future and pick someone, and because I'm very intrigued on if Carr is going to be the starting quarterback next year with
Yeah,
him and the
that's one to
Devontae
watch.
connection. But I mean, if a new quarter they clean house, I don't. But then
That's one to
they
watch for
they owe
sure.
they owe Josh too much money. He's probably still going to be the coach. But man, that is a good question. I think that there's so many good teams out there. I'm hoping it's the Saints.
Okay.
I'm
Obviously, I
hoping that
do too.
all of their success with Shawn was their head coach, and he's gone, never to
Mm,
return to the city of New
right.
Orleans again. And they're just going to fall apart. They're going to keep
Yeah.
falling apart because they got some aging veterans. They got some bad contracts. I think they're going to get a quarterback in there, and my man's just going to get creamed.
All good reasons why they could be in dire straits down there in Nolans.
Yeah. You could
Good.
say the same for a team like the Colts, too. They got some aging vets and a weird QB situation that they might
Yeah.
need to, because I just feel like they mess it up every year.
But also with and you also mentioned the Raiders with this too, and the Saints for that matter. But like, not only do they have aging vets, but they also have young pieces who could garner some picks. Like they have some studs
Yeah.
on those teams.
Yeah.
It could get interesting. Could
Yeah.
get
And
interesting.
and
Yeah.
I mean all eyes are going to be on Denver too and see whatever they do with Russell and that 7-year conundrum they got
Yeah.
going on.
You ever, as a player, ever just give him money back and be like, man, rip that contract up and just give me another one?
James Harden, didn't he just do it in the NBA? Or he didn't
Well,
take he's like, don't give me that much money. Build a team.
that's
Like
what
I'm getting old, man.
I'm
Like don't
good.
do that.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
good.
want that pressure,
I have enough money. I have enough money.
right? Like I want to win
Yeah.
a championship. Let's do
Yeah.
that. Shawn, who you got? Who you shouting out this week?
So yeah, so all right, quick shout outs. But the number one shout out right now, for as much as this team used to be my rival, it has to be Steve Wilkes.
Taboo.
Number one shout out this
Keep
week
out.
for what is he, don't do that, but for what is he for what he is doing in Carolina, man. For him to get another shot and for him to just really had a team believe in him. And I think and part of that is a lot of those guys on that team know about what happened in Arizona and want to do right by this man, and they're playing hard for him. So I think he's earned another job, and it's now clearly obvious to everybody that he can, at the very least, manage a team to get them to perform on Sundays up
Yeah.
to NFL standards.
Right. I mean,
You
something
know,
has to be said about the vets coming back around.
yeah, oh yeah,
A lot of the
yeah.
veterans
After they were out,
disappeared. A lot of vets disappeared, and it was nice to see Luke Kuechly and Steve Smith and those guys back at practice and hanging around. So
there you go. Spoken from a Panther fan itself.
yep, yep.
This next shout out is from a former Panther. It's Baker Mayfield. You knew this was going to be the follow up.
Yeah,
Old Mister Two Day Man himself coming
98-yard
in,
touchdown.
98-yard drive to win it. Doing his best Tom Brady on Monday impression. For as much as we look like shit, but this is not about them. This is about Baker.
Yeah,
And he's at least going to get the season, man. So maybe it's just one of those things for Baker. Like, okay, if Baker was in San Francisco, are we talking about Baker in the same, or are we
right.
talking about him being maybe 12-4, like the Eagles, or
Yeah,
something like that? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
maybe he's a situational guy. He just needs the right situation. And Carolina wasn't it, but it was
No,
the option that he had, so he took it. You know, I don't
there
know,
is a
but
part of me that would love to see Baker now with our team, like
yeah,
Rule gone.
yeah,
Like almost him and Darnold switched a little bit.
Yeah,
Just curiosity. Like I'm
yeah,
happy with Darnold. I'm happy with what he's doing. I'm
right.
super happy for Baker being in LA and taking those reins. And he could set himself up nicely to be Stafford's backup and then be the quarterback when Stafford ain't got that many years, especially he's falling apart.
That's true.
So he
Yeah,
could set himself up pretty nicely in
yeah,
LA. So I'm super happy for all parties involved. I'm
yeah.
happy
This
he's not
is
on the Panthers anymore. He's shining in LA.
yeah.
But a little bit of me was like, I wonder what he can do with this team.
Yeah, it's a win-win for win-win-win for everybody, all
Yeah.
involved. And lastly, underrated shout out, but gotta give a shout out to the man, Hassan Reddick, another former Panther, 3 straight years with 10 plus sacks
He's a
after
beast.
this
I miss
past
him
game.
greatly.
Yeah, so
Although
on
our
that
guy
Eagles defense.
Lubu, I'll take him in a heartbeat. But
Yeah, yeah, but
that's what I'm saying. I'm happy for all our former Panthers. I'm loving the
yeah,
team we got. Happy they're shining too.
yeah.
I'm just saying I miss them. That's all. That's all.
So yeah, that is it. That
Yeah.
is
Quick,
the shout outs.
quick random question that's popped in my head. What former Buccaneer that's still in the league do you miss the most?
What former Buccaneer do
Yeah.
man, it's we haven't well right now it's probably my defensive guys that we just had last year. Right now, I really miss Jordan Whitehead. I miss Jordan Whitehead. I miss his physicality. Yes, Keanu Neal saved the game with that tackle, but it shouldn't have gotten there. Can Jordan Whitehead make that play? Yes.
Yeah.
Would our run defense be better with Jordan Whitehead? Yes. And another one is honestly, I wish Dominican Sue came back. You know,
Yeah.
I wish he came back. He's
Some
doing
mean
on the
dude
Eagles
up front,
now.
like
He's a run stopping guy. Like he will anchor that Philadelphia defense and get them to continue to play well against the run. So
and just a veteran presence come playoff time. That's
yep,
gonna be huge.
yep.
All
All
right.
right.
Well, I've been looking forward to this segment as soon as we talk, as soon as we talked about it last week. So let's get into
Let's
some
do it.
free agents coming up in 2023 and where we might think they could fit.
All right. So the I was just talking about this one earlier, talking about that Washington football team and that vaunted defense now starting to come alive. This player is going to be a free agent, and I dare say that they could be put over the top offensively if they make a run at this guy. It is none other than the man who was traded from the Chicago Bears. It is Roquan Smith.
Ooh.
I think
Ooh.
that would be a sneaky
Him
good
and
addition.
a healthy Chase Young
Yeah.
and that the rest of that defensive line they got. Oh
Yeah,
man.
man.
That could good call on that one.
Yeah, I think so let me go back to all positions here. We're just using sport track, however you pronounce it, but shout to those guys for always putting out great content. All right, Drew, I think we talked about this guy a little bit and nobody really knew what his role was on this team who was definitely going to the playoffs and should be there. But Drew, I want to know where you think Mike Gesicki should go, upcoming 2020 tight end, 2023 tight end free agent. Where should he go?
Ooh. That's a good question. Because I'm looking at the top teams here. Because you got to think he's not going to leave Miami for like the Bears.
He ain't taking the money. He's not taking the money. Nah, he's not that guy.
He's going to want to win a championship. Man, I think it would be super fun to see Gesicki on. It would be in division, and I don't know if they got the money for it because they're already an all-star team. But could you imagine him playing Miami twice as a member of the Bills and finally being that tight end presence that they desperately need? And they keep thinking Knox is going to be, and he's not.
And he's not. Oh man, that would be ugly. That would be ugly for everybody else except Buffalo to get him. And I think that's good because I feel like they would really make a run at him too.
Yeah.
I feel like they would really make
also
a run at him.
could see him going to the Ravens and being that double-headed tight end monster that Andrews once was with it Hurst?
Yeah, Hayden Hurst for a little while, and then they got I think they drafted like
I would have said the Bengals, but I think Hurst is going to start showing more in Cincinnati.
So following up with another stud, Drew, we have to ask the question: one of the biggest free agents coming up this season is going to be Saquon Barkley. Where should Saquon go? Where is his best free agent fit?
I mean, can you imagine him in Baltimore?
Oh,
Since they just
oh,
love to run the ball and they've
oh,
had injuries with their other guys. Like, can you imagine Dobbins and Barkley?
man, man, yeah. And now he has another,
Could
stud
you
that can
imagine?
take the
Could you
load off.
imagine if Gasecki and Saquon go to Baltimore next
That
year?
would be like literally, I don't know if there would ever be another rushing team who would be able to do what that team could do with
No, man.
Lamar, Saquon, and
Yeah.
oof, man, that's good. That's
Another
good.
another team I personally like. This is this is no facts behind this or
Right.
anything, but just from a pure storyline standpoint, and I truly believe he could benefit the team going to the Commanders.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that, well, as a free agent, you can go wherever,
Yeah.
and I think that if you're a free agent and
I
you're
just think they're
unrestricted,
all.
like
I
you
think
would
they're
be,
liking what they got with Gibson and Robinson. They'll probably draft another guy. But just for me, like just for if we're playing, fantasy,
right, right.
owner here going to
Yeah.
that team.
Man, and let's get another one in here.
I also think Saquon will eventually re up with the
I
Giants.
think he'll probably resign with them too. They wouldn't. I don't think they would really let him go.
I think they'd rather
Um,
let Jones go than Barkley.
yeah, yeah. Now, just I'll give you one more quick one here. This Kansas City side, you know this guy very, very well, Drew. Orlando Brown Jr. is going to be a free agent coming off
Yeah,
this year, in which
someone's gonna throw some
obviously,
money at that dude.
yes, they are. So where is I mean, obviously, I think Kansas City is going to be in the mix too. But when you
Yeah,
have a top tackle, 26 years of age, 27,
oof.
I mean, he's going to make some money. Where would his actual best fit be though? And Kansas City's still on the table because I mean he
Yeah,
would be
I think
protecting
he'd be
Patrick
great. I
Mahomes.
think he'd be great in Kansas City. I could see him, anywhere with a young quarterback that has sack problems. I could see him
Mm,
being a good fit in Arizona if they wanted to spend the money.
yeah,
Because Kyler can run, but they don't
yeah.
need him to.
He's
Uh,
another guy though that I mean like, and he's a junior, so his dad's a Hall of Famer as well. So I, he's another guy we talked about. Kasicki, he ain't going to a bad team because that dude's about legacy.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
I mean, but Arizona got a lot of people to buy in.
that's
Yeah,
true. That's true. I'm thinking Bengals though.
yeah, I was gonna say they did a lot to booster that offensive line, but as we're seeing, still not enough. So I
Still
can
not
see them
enough. Yeah,
going back to that in the offseason.
that's very true. That
But
is
I could see I could see like the Jets scooping him up,
somebody ran. Yeah, like an up and
like
coming team.
on the cusp. Like
Yeah,
I think Salah could sell the future to him, and
yeah.
they got the money. Like they got the money to go after him. So I could see a team like that scooping him up. Also
I
could see
definitely could.
Miami going for it. If Miami's like, man, Tua got beat up this year. We need to spend some money on this.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I think just we'll have some more names
That's
coming up for you
that's
guys.
the great thing with
But
offensive line help. Any team can use
any team,
it.
where do they want to? Do they want to just vacation for 2-3 years in a certain place
Yeah. Do the
and get paid
Cowboys try
again?
to
I don't
do
know.
the Cowboys try to build that, magnificent offensive line they once had? Go after him.
That's true. That's true.
But
They
yeah,
can
I
definitely
love
do
this
that.
segment, man. Yeah, let's do this some more next week. So for
Yeah,
sure.
let's do it.
All right, what matchup you looking forward to? Get these guys ready for week 15.
True. It is none other than the game of the week, in my opinion. It is Detroit Lions at the New York Jets coming
Shawn,
into.
just let's just pause and appreciate what you just said. How crazy of an NFL season this has been.
Yep.
That at week 15, and rightfully so,
Yeah.
we're hyped for the Lions and
For the
Jets
Lions and
and the
Jets, man.
Jets.
And this is a big game because the Jets obviously coming off that loss against Buffalo in where they held the Buffalo Bills to 20 points. The Jets defense is still alive. Is the offense going to be able to keep up? Because Salah has that defense humming. I think that I'm curious to see if they can continue to play well and slow down this like enormous juggernaut that is the Detroit offense right now.
Yeah.
So something's
Just
got to
scoring
give.
points.
Something's got to give. Is Detroit going to keep it going? Is the New York Jets going to keep it going? Is Mike White going to play? Is he going to be healthy?
Because that would suck, is to make this stand and prove this point to Zach Wilson, and then you got to play him because the other guy got hurt.
That's true. That's true. But what an opportunity for Zach Wilson, though. Yeah. What an opportunity. Because now you're forced into it. Then Mike White solidify. It's but that's what I'm saying. It's on him. It's on him. But I want to see if Detroit can keep it going offensively and defensively. Defense is playing a lot better. They are on the road, but there's just they have the opportunity to get back to 500, Drew, and make this playoff push, beating the Minnesota Vikings, and now their destiny is in front of them. I mean, who's to say? I mean, what we got? It's 13 games. We got 4 games left. So why not Detroit being 10-7, Drew?
Why not?
Why not? Or are they just going to let it go, get down to 500 and further take themselves out of the race? Or are they going to be 2 games above 500? So this is why this is one of the games of the week for me. So much on the line between these 2 teams, 2 hot teams, 2 beloved teams by NFL fans this season. This is we get it in the 1 o'clock window, baby. Yeah. I like it.
Lions last 4 games: Jets, Panthers, Bears, Packers.
Winnable games.
Dude, last game of the season: Packers, Lions.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh man, what a way for the Lions if they beat Aaron Rodgers going off into this. Oh man.
I mean, by that point, they might be beating Jordan Love.
Oh man. What a way. What a way.
What a week. What a end of the season we got to look forward to.
Exactly. Drew, what are you looking forward to this week? What matchup you talking about, man? What you got?
Got a little home cooking here in Nashville, man. I'm looking forward to Tennessee Titans at the Los Angeles Chargers, because I feel like both these teams are on the up and up. I mean, well, one team's on the up and up, and one team's kind of stumbling a little bit. So I want to see who's the real threat heading into these AFC playoffs, because we're 1 year removed from the Titans being the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Number 1 seed.
Lucky for them, they are stumbling, but their division sucks. So they're still going to make the playoffs. They're going to be in that top 4. Chargers are just sneaking in at number 7 right now. Can they improve that status? This could be a 4 or 5 matchup when it's all said and done. So we might get a playoff preview.
Early playoff preview, yes.
So I'm excited about it, man. I want to see if Tannehill can take a little bit of the load off of Derrick Henry's shoulders.
Right.
Derrick Henry from getting murdered on the field again.
Yeah. Westbrook-Ikhine with a touchdown too. They need somebody to step up receiver. We say it every week, man. Somebody I need any wide receiver can get 1 touchdown, Drew.
Yeah.
I need somebody to get 2. Yes.
Yeah, make it a thing. Chargers clinging to that playoff spot, but they're getting healthy. And we're finally seeing what this Chargers team could have been the whole year without the injury bug. It's just great to see Williams and Allen on the field side by side. They got a very dangerous tight end in Everett. They just got a bunch of weapons and a great quarterback to use them all. It's just, can this defense stop? Can they score more points than what their defense gives up?
Well, and the Chargers get a chance to prove, just like they do every time they come off a big win, but that wasn't a fluke.
Yep.
They get another chance to prove that. Are you for real this time going into the playoffs, like we just talked about a little bit earlier in the show? But I think that they can, and just the way that the Titans looked.
Yeah, I think the Chargers get a win.
I think they are, but you can't. Nothing is ever 100% with the Chargers.
Yeah,
because they're so inconsistent from week to week. So Drew's right; they get a chance to prove it. This whole league is just about proving every single week. You got something else to prove.
Yeah.
You got to prove it.
Consistency is the name of the game, man. The Chargers sitting at 7-6, the Titans 7-6 as well. But because of that division, we're looking at a 4 versus 7, so
This is gonna be a good game. It's coming
but
down to the wire,
I
man.
love that randomly the Titans have to kind of like look at the Jags real quick and be like, y'all still winning games?
Yeah. Stop.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the only thing the Titans have to worry about is the 5-8 Jaguars. They're sitting at 7-6.
Yep.
It's just crazy that that's only 2 games. We got 4 left. You only got a 2-game lead.
And I feel like the Jaguars just have like they're 5-8, but they have a collective smirk. Like that their logo is smirking. It's a
Yeah.
smirking Jaguar right now. Yeah. Because
Well,
they know they might burn you.
Titans lost 3 straight heading into this game. So
the curse of AJ Brown lives on.
Yes.
Man. All right, so those are our matchups for the week, man. I think what do we got next?
Let's talk locks, I guess. Whatever.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
We both went 1-1 last week.
Yeah.
Panthers saved me from having a disastrous week because I thought the Rams would lose to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Never picking the Raiders again, that's for sure, unless I'm talking about them losing.
I'm done with ya.
Yeah. The Seahawks let you down, but you did pick the Giants losing to Philly. I'm sitting strong at 14-14, 19-8-1. Shawn, who you got losing this week?
Drew losing this week. It is none other than, and I hate to do this, it is the Carolina Panthers losing at home to the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's just something like I feel like a loss is coming for the Panthers. And I picked them last week to lose to the Seahawks, and they definitely burned me on that one.
Keep picking us.
I mean, if that's what's working for you, damn. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, they need to pump the brakes. Like, yeah, we're out of getting a top quarterback this year, but we still want a pretty good draft pick. All right, calm down. We still got other needs on the roster.
But yeah,
winning
man. So
5 games out here.
I got the Panthers losing. I think it's just something about what the Panthers have and the lack of stars that I feel like Pittsburgh teams feast on, and they just stymie people, man. So I got Pittsburgh going this week.
I can see them frustrating Darnold for sure.
Yeah,
I get it. I'm taking a page out of your playbook because my playbook sucks, but I'm going Giants lose to the Commanders.
Oh, somebody gets a winner this time in this game.
Yeah,
a winner coming through in this game. All right. I like that. Yeah. Damn. Giants lose, and the Commanders. They're looking strong. Out of those 2 teams, I feel like the Commanders are the better team. So that's a good pick.
I mean, you know me, man. Heineke all day.
I feel you. So my winner this week is none other than I'm picking a gimme, and the first time it's all season, but Cincinnati Bengals will destroy the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming up this week. It's all bad.
I feel like gimmies are okay if it's against your own team. All right.
Look, I don't have any faith in the Bucs this week. You've taken all the faith from me, Tampa Bay. You are here. You deserve to be here. So get that ass whipped. Come back ready to face Arizona. Okay? Get it right.
In your heart of hearts, man, do y'all make the playoffs?
I think we made the playoffs, yeah.
Is it a fun playoff season?
No. Okay. No. I think like at the most, like if we go to the playoffs and we win the first game, all bets are off.
Okay.
But yeah.
I got you. All right. I got picking with my heart here. We'll see how it goes. I got the Lions beating the Jets, continuing this trend upward into a playoff spot.
Man, I would love to see it. Yeah. Good for football. Yeah. Right. I would be rooting for Detroit.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's kind of weird that I'm in a weird headspace where I'm like, Panthers need to lose to get a better draft pick, and I'm all in on the Lions.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a fun team, man. The Lions have been bad for so long that you can't help but root for them and hope good things for them.
And I'm a big like nostalgia guy. Like I remember, like most of my like favorite memories growing up was sports related. Like my
Yeah,
favorite thing in the world was to watch Sports Center in the morning, and then I had all
loved it.
these white T-shirts and these washable markers.
Hmm.
So I would make jerseys off of what team I saw on like the top plays. I'd look at the top plays and be like,
Right.
I'm going to be a Detroit Lion today. Like I remember I had a generic like all white football helmet too,
Right.
and I would tape over it and draw like logos on it. And I remember one Thanksgiving, I just loved the fact that the Lions played every Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Running around the house in a made up Lions jersey. My grandfather, who's a diehard Washington fan, is like, "What are you doing, kid?"
Yeah. Get out of here.
Quick
Nah.
update before we get out of here. Our 2023 NFL draft order as we speak, since we've talked about the draft for a little bit. Houston holding strong to that number one pick at 111-1. Do they finally get a quarterback? They get a quarterback?
I haven't really gotten to the tape on quarterbacks, but I'm largely unimpressed. Like
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
what I'm saying is like Carolina's played their way out of it, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chicago or Denver by way of Seattle, or Denver's giving their pick to Seattle
Yep.
at 2. So Seattle Seahawks could make the playoffs and still have the
The
number
top
2 pick.
5 pick. Yeah.
And then you got Chicago at number 3, and then you got Lions at number 4 by way of Rams. Lions are holding that Rams pick, so
Yeah.
they weren't happy with Baker winning.
The Rams had the Lions, they have a lot that they could use, so they could go any number of directions with that pick.
And then we were talking about the Saints could have a fiasco
Mhm.
with their quarterback. They're forfeiting their first round pick to the Eagles. So the Eagles
Oh
right
my
now
God.
have a top 5 draft pick.
Oh no. What are they gonna do? They
Yeah.
gonna do the most.
Let's get even better.
They're gonna take whoever is the guy who is the absolute stud, who is a little bit of a faller. That's who the Eagles are gonna take.
And they're going to reap the benefits of it too.
Yep.
That dude's going to turn out to be a stud.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Shawn, where can they find you, my dude?
At the Kid Suds on Twitter, man, at nickel_dom FB on Twitter, at nickel_dom football on the Instagram. Make sure you holler at us, leave some comments, man, like us, share us with your friends, and tell your mom too. We like moms. We're not Zach Wilson, we promise.
No Zach Wilson stuff here.
Yeah.
No, stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Instagram at Laugh with Harrison. Got some very fun football coming, man. We got games on Saturday this week.
Hey.
But no, stay tuned. We got the rest of the season for you. We'll see you next week.